Hi guys, we're going to do t-shirt yarn tonight, and the camera's at a funny angle because I'm going to switch it around in a minute and hopefully get it right this time. I've got a couple of examples for you, but first of all I'll show you the method. Right, so here's my workbench and my t-shirt. I hope you can hear me okay. So I've got an old t-shirt and I'm going to turn this into yarn. So what we're going to do is we turn it inside out first of all. We'll give it a little stretch so it's nice and flat. Hope you can see this. Yes, good. Right, we're going to trim off the hem. We're going to trim off the hem because we don't need that bit. Just move this a bit better. And sharp pair of scissors is always in the bin. Right, we're going to cut all the way up to underneath the armpits. So we're going to turn it around slightly. I hope you can see this. And we're going to cut. You can use a ruler, and in fact I will use a ruler because some people can't cut straight, usually me. So a line from armpit to armpit. Grab a pencil. When you work out how wide you want your yarn, you have to remember that the stuff is going to curl up on itself. So rather than staying nice and flat, like this, once you pull it, it curls up and you're going to end up with half the size that you want. Also, the wider you make it, the thicker the yarn is going to be and more chunkier. So if you want a nice delicate piece, you need to cut thin lines. If you want a chunky piece, you need to cut fat lines. So I'm going to use the ruler as my markings. So I'm going to draw down both sides. The pencil won't show once you've finished because it'll be curled up inside, so don't worry. And then I'm going to repeat that all the way down. We'll try to. So obviously you can make this fatter. I'm actually making a thin cord here. Don't worry about the bottom if it's wibbly because that's your first cut and it won't even show. So I'm going to save half of it, but I won't be able to use all of it. Right, I'll cut that in a minute. Right, so now we've drawn all our lines, we need to fold the t-shirt so that the lines show, but we have just a little bit of overlap, and I'll show you why in a second. So we have one edge here, and then the other one a bit further over. and we're going to go over those lines again to make sure that we're, or you can draw the lines once you've folded it, it's entirely up to you. Get our nice sharp scissors, and we're going to cut all the way along, but not to this second edge. We're only going to go just over the first edge. I'm going to cut that end bit off because it's wiggly. Can add it in later, I'll show you how. Nice straight edge now. So we're going to cut all the way along. And over the first seam, but not all the way into the second. And we're going to repeat that all along. Bit of patience now, and the whole thing will fall into. So just move them out of the way. So we're cutting 4 layers of t-shirt here. So you need a fairly sharp pair of scissors. Some of those home school ones, I think they call them, aren't particularly sharp unless you're really lucky. To sharpen any scissors that you have, if they are really blunt, then you get some silver foil and you fold the silver foil in half and half again and half again, so you've got like a several layers of silver foil. You literally just snip along the silver foil, and the act of cutting through the foil will sharpen your scissors. It works even as for zigzag scissors and any other shape you like as well, because the actual cutting action of the metal of the foil actually sharpens the scissors. So if you've got shape scissors like these ones, which are zigzag scissors, you can see from there. Okay, you can actually sharpen those with the foil method. So let's finish cutting this. And again, as I said, only just over the first seam. So you've cut through there, but you haven't cut through the second half. If you're lucky and you've got a t-shirt with no side seams, then you won't have any lumps. I don't think this one has, no. So this one doesn't have side seams, but my previous one did. As you can see, there's a seam there. But use any t-shirt you like if you're not going to wear it again. Nearly there. This one we're going to cut all the way across because we're going to leave this bit to later. So save that bit for later. So we now have the t-shirt cut into shreds. So you pick it up by the bit that you haven't cut, and you open it out. I'll just put it on the ruler to show you easier. To show where the side seams are. So, this is the bit we've cut. And this on the ruler is where we haven't cut. So now, using those lines, we're going to start it off. We're going to finish this cut and we're going to go to that end. Try not to cut yourself while you're doing it, guys. So we have a start. We now never lies flat when I'm doing it. Right, so now we're going to follow this cut and go to that one. And yep, you got it, guys. You repeat. So all the way up to the next ring. Doesn't matter if it's rough, it doesn't matter if it's fuzzy, as long as you don't cut the strips too thin, because obviously once you strengthen them, it will just split, but it doesn't matter if it's a bit big, because it's all going to curl up, trust me. So I hope you're getting this on camera, because working sideways is a bit strange. So I'm just putting it on my arms so that I can see which bits I've done, which bits I haven't. So if you haven't got a whole t-shirt and you've only got half one or something, or a little skimpy one, you can still do this, and I'll show you method in a moment of adding the strips together. We don't use the hem because it's a bit chunky, and you want it a fairly consistent. Also, you can use this with knitting needles, crochet needles. Just use it like wool, like you would for wool or cord that you're making something with. You make friendship bracelets out of it. Make lots of projects. I'm actually going to show you a mat that I've made, and I'm also making a thinner mat. So real basic, easy shapes to do. Right, we're now at the end. So we're now going to cut this one to the outside. Right, we now have our string. So another reason for doing it like that is then you just pull, and there is your cord. The reason for pulling, if you take the stretch out of it, and it also makes it a consistent thread. as you can see, all the ends are curled up. You can't even see the markings on it. So, and the pencil will wash out if you once you've washed your item once you finish with it. It does make a bit of a mess, so you may want to put newspaper or something down. Don't want to ruin your mum's carpets. Right, this is the bit I cut off. Of course, it's a circle, so literally. We now have a strap. Right, the way we're going to add this onto here, so we're going to get a fairly chunky bit. Doesn't matter if there's a long end because you can always cut it off. Fold it in half. Make a small cut in it, not very big. Just big. Hello? Where's it gone? I've lost my screen. 1 second, guys. I don't know what's happened there. All right, it's not working. I'm not very good with technology, guys, sorry. I hope you can still see. Right, I've made a tiny little hole. And I've got the bit that I cut off, and I'm going to put that through the hole. And make a small slit in this one. As I say, I'm not very good with technology, and I've exited full screen. I can't see actually what I'm doing. Won't be the first time. And then we're going to push the end of the strip through the hole. So it's pushing through itself through a hole. And when we pull it, adding without sewing. There we go, sorted. Right, I'm now going to bundle this up. So now bundling this up into a ball. As I say, you can now use this just like knitting wool. Use it for crocheting. I've seen hats and things made out of it, but I'm not that clever. I can't follow patterns. I get confused with all the abbreviations and stuff. Words not my thing. Right, so you end up with quite a sizable chunk just from one t-shirt. Now, depending on the project you want, you may need more than one t-shirt of the same colour, or you can contrast it. Today I have, here's some I prepared earlier. So, see, this strap is quite a bit wider than the one that we've just done. and that makes it much more chunky. So I've got a dark blue in chunky. Also got a darker blue, oh, dropped them all over the floor now, in chunky. But you don't have to have all of them chunky. Here's some I made earlier, which are actually thinner than the ones I've just done. And what we're going to do, sorry, I just dropped it all on the floor and it's all got mixed up. One sec. So, dropped it on the floor. We're going to plait it. Simple plait, just 3 layers. And as I said, here's one I did earlier. I literally did this afternoon. It doesn't take long. Okay, and what I'm doing now, I've still got the balls attached because I haven't decided how big a mat I'm going to make. So I've got a long thing, and what I've done is simply tied a knot in the end. Can you see that? And then I've just stitched it onto itself. And I'm going to make a pot holder or something with this because I'm fed up of using tea towels and burning my hands. So we've made the plait. I'll demonstrate a plait in case people don't know how. 1 second. Clothes pegs are very handy, okay, to keep your work there. And if you put hairbands round the balls, then you can literally just pull off the bit that you want at a time. So this is a simple 3-string plait, and you literally have 3 strings, and you take the outside colour and put it over to the middle, outside colour and put it over to the middle, and you just rinse and repeat. It's literally just that. And after you've done a few inches, you literally have to untangle. Or if you're like I was earlier, I clamped this onto the side of my bench and let the excess drop and then just move them around so that it didn't tangle too much. So yeah, literally from the outside to the centre and just rinse and repeat. So I secured the work in place with a very technological item. Yes, it's a clothes peg. So as I say, we've done the plait, and I'm literally just tacking. So I'm just, I hope you can see this. I can't see if you can see. You literally, I keep saying that, must stop that. Right, just pick up a few threads here into the other side. And then repeat it so it holds it in place. You see that? Hope so. So every centimetre or so or more, it's up to you. You can do every loop if you like. Doesn't matter if it's big stitches, little stitches, wonky stitches, straight stitches. It's just to hold the fibres together. So you find a stitch and then go over it. And then when you reach the end, you literally just turn the whole thing around. Try not to twist the plait. try and keep as flat as possible, because that'll give you a flat pot holder or whatever you're baking rather than a really chunky one. And then, so 2 or 3 times at the top, so it holds the shape. And follow it down. You can use contrasting thread, you can use matching thread, strong thread, whatever, but as long as it's a strong thread, not this really cheap stuff, because as soon as you put any pressure on it, it's just going to break, and then you can end up with holes in it. And hot hands if you're using it as a pot holder. You can make table mats this way, you can make doilies or whatever you call them to put under plant pots so they don't mark your table surfaces. You can make small ones, big ones, entirely up to you, because you can mix and match how big, what colours, whatever you want. Also, once you've done the plait, you can then plait the plaits, and then again plait the plaits, and you can end up with a big fat sausage and tie knots in the end. And then some people use them as dog pulls, so if you're playing with your dog, you can play tug of war with him or her. So once you've got your yarn, it's quite versatile, and it's usually a lot cheaper buying a t-shirt than it is balls of wool, actually. I don't know if you get quite as much out of a t-shirt as you would a ball of wool, but it is a lot thicker. Also, if somebody's allergic to wool, you can make it out of this stuff instead. And when you're rinsing them, you have to wash them, chuck them in the washing machine, whatever. Then you literally just treat it like a t-shirt, because guess what? That's what it was. So while I'm finishing this row, I'll go over that method again. So you fold the t-shirt flat onto the table. You fold it in half so it doesn't quite meet the other side, so you've got a gap of about that much. Draw lines on it if you can't cut straight like me, and follow the lines, then go straight over the first side of the t-shirt, but don't cut into the second. Then you do that the whole section of fabric that you've got, right up to the armpits, and then you do a diagonal cut from one strip over to the other, and then repeat that so that it all comes into one long piece of t-shirt. Pull it to make it curl up and turn into cord and coil, and then use. I would love to see any projects that you guys make. If you can send me photos, that'd be really awesome. Right, so I just coming to the end of this row. Please don't be intimidated by the speed of my stitches. I have done this for a few years and I'm quite used to doing a lot of hand stitching, so please don't feel you have to go as fast as me. You go as fast as you want to. And as I say, even my stitches aren't even. I don't know if you can quite see that. See? But this is the back side of it. That is the side it's going to be outside, so you can hardly see any stitches whatsoever. This mat is made in a zigzag, so it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. But once I finish this row, I will show you one I did earlier. Ha! Good as Blue Peter, this is. Or better. I think I could give them a run for their money these days. Show my age, talking about Blue Peter. So, as I say, just coming to the end. If the thread and the needle's not going through the fabric very well, literally just get a bar of soap. I did have one earlier. Nope, lost it. It's probably on the floor with all the other stuff. So literally just wrap the thread round the bar of soap and pull, and it will coat the thread with some soap, and it make it easier to go through the fabric. And again, a nice strong stitch at the end to hold the edges, because it's always the edges that go first. And I'm almost run out of thread, so I shall leave it there. So that was a French knot, guys. I'll go through that again. So I just, sometimes I do this stuff so fast it's automatic. So I put the needle through. I hope you can see that. And I get the end that's coming out of the fabric and wrap it 2 or 3 times round the needle that's coming out of the fabric. And then as you pull, it turns it into a knot. To stop that slipping, you literally just pass the needle through the fabric once more. That's it, done. So that's my mat in progress. Okay, and this cord that I showed you earlier is remnants of something that I did on a previous project. This was actually a t-shirt. You can see this one had seams, side seams. So if you can, you just make sure that that rolls that way so it doesn't show so bad. Right, previous project. I hope you can see the size of this damn thing. This is our bath mat, and it's absolutely, let me just pick this up and show you. It's huge. It's about 2 or 3 feet that way and 1.5 feet the other. So as you can imagine, it took me a while. I mean, just plaiting the thread. See, and that's had several washes and it still hasn't faded. Can you see the difference? But this was actually a spiral. I started in the middle and just worked my way out. But then I realised, because I started as a spiral, doing the corners was going to be interesting. So I'm doing the next one zigzag. Hey, that was the first time I'd done one. It wasn't bad going. Right, so I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed that.